I'm making this video because on November 24th, a guy up in Michigan by the name of Kieth was arrested for handing out jury rights pamphlets, these pamphlets here. Now, I did almost a year of handing out these pamphlets down at various courthouses around Florida, and wasn't arrested. They're not too happy about you handing these out because basically it's telling people that serve on a jury that they have the right to vote their conscience, right? And so when you serve on a jury, you have the right to judge the facts of the case, the law itself, and whether or not the law is being misapplied. So if you think it's a bad law, you have a right to vote your conscience. And the thing about that is, what a lot of people don't know is that one person on a jury can hang a jury. You don't all have to agree. It's called a hung jury, and they have to, the prosecutor then has to make a decision whether he's going to retry the case with another jury or not. And they don't like this because it does make the prosecutor's job a lot harder. They don't get as many convictions, and the state doesn't get the money for the majority of the crimes that they say are crimes, are victimless crimes. I mean, some guy walking around with a bit of plant on him, something like that, where there's no victim, there's no person's been injured, no property's been injured. It's the person that is the victim of a victimless crime is the person that gets arrested. So yeah, this guy Kieth was arrested, and it was for passing out these brochures, these jury rights brochures, on the sidewalk outside a courthouse in Mecosta County, Michigan, right? And I guess they found out about him. I'll put a link in the description below to a local news channel that's reported on this. So they found out about him, and the judge, I think, sent a cop outside, asked the guy to come in to the courthouse, and then the judge had the cop arrest the guy. Now, this Kieth Wood is actually facing a 5-year felony charge, because they're saying that what he's doing is he's tampering with the jury, and that's not true. He's not telling anybody how to vote. He's just passing out information, and in the information, basically, this is a thing that used to be told by judges to jurors, that they have a right to vote their conscience. You shouldn't check your conscience at the courthouse door. It's up to you, where you decide whether somebody's guilty or not, and you make that decision. You say not guilty, and you stick to your guns, and that's it. You don't have to agree with everybody on the jury. And in one of the news articles that I read, this prosecutor, Brian Teedy, I think it is, he says that because they're going to, if it is going to go to a jury trial, they're going to actually call the prosecutors to the witness stand, and he says that if he goes on the witness stand, he's going to tell everybody that the pamphlets, these brochures, these pamphlets, could create a lawless nation. Look, people know that you shouldn't hit anybody, you should not initiate aggression against anybody, you shouldn't steal from people, and you shouldn't damage people's property, right? We know this. We're told this from being little kids. And so there is a victim there when somebody does that, when somebody initiates force in one of those ways, there's a victim, right? But there's the only victim here with the guy handing out these brochures is Kieth Wood, right? He's not harmed anybody. All he's done is freedom of speech, right? That's what this is. This is freedom of speech. He's letting people know, hey, listen, you know, take a look at this, read it. If you agree with it, use it. If you don't, then you don't have to agree with it. But you should vote your conscience. If you serve on a jury and you think that the law's bad or being misapplied, you should say not guilty. So yeah, this guy's facing 5 years, in a cage if found guilty. Now I hope it doesn't. I hope it gets squashed, because it's nonsense. The very fact that handing out pieces of paper with information on it in regards to letting people know what used to happen in the past, that judges used to instruct jurors that they have a right to vote their conscience, they have a right to judge the facts of the case, the law itself, and whether the law is being misapplied. And that's not done now. That's not done now. The jurors do not get told this by the judge. And so there are people that know about this, and they want a informed public. They want an informed jury. I mean, wouldn't you want people informed on your jury if you were taken to court? Wouldn't you want somebody to say, hold on a minute, who is this guy harmed? Where's the victim here? What damage to somebody did this person do, right? And so I know I'd want somebody to say not guilty, right? That's because where there is no victim, there is no crime. There's no victim, there's no crime. Now, the other thing about this this prosecutor, or these prosecutors, this Brian Tede, who's saying that if he's called as a witness, he'll say that the jury pamphlets could create a lawless nation. All right, so basically what the majority of prosecutors want is, they want basically jurors to follow the instructions of the judge, right, or the prosecutor. They don't want people to vote their conscience. So if people don't vote their conscience, if people don't make a decision whether it's a bad law or a law that's being misapplied, right, what is the point? What is the point of having a jury? If people on the jury cannot make a decision themselves, what's the point of having a jury? You may as well just let the judge and the prosecutor decide, which, it's what they're doing right now. So that's why they don't want people to be informed about their rights when they sit on a jury. You can get information like this by going to www.fija.org. All these brochures are there to be downloaded, or you can order these brochures and they'll ship them to you. And you can go and pass them out outside courthouses. If I'm out and about and I have some on me, if I'm like in the line of the supermarket, I'll give them to people in there, or I'll just pass them out to anybody that I strike up a conversation. If I've got these on me, I'll just hand them out. But yeah, I mean, there are so many people that are in cages right now for victimless crimes because jurors just listened to the judge and they didn't know about their rights. So yeah, if there's no victim, there's no crime. And if you serve on a jury, you have the right to judge the facts of the case, the law itself, and whether the law is being misapplied. So don't check your conscience at the courthouse door, right? If you think it's a bad law. You have the right to say not guilty. And one person on a jury, again, can say not guilty and stick to the guns and say, hey, I'm not changing my mind. You don't even have to give a reason why you're saying not guilty. And you can just say, doesn't matter, foreman, you better go out there and tell the judge that you've got one person on your jury and they're not willing to change their mind, so we've got a hung jury. And that's it, basically. I mean, this guy's done nothing wrong, Kieth Wood, he's done nothing wrong. He's facing 5 years, a felony charge for handing out a brochure, a piece of paper with information that tells people, you have a right to vote your conscience. I mean, what's the world coming to? All right, so if you want information about your rights when you serve on a jury, and you'll find out more information on there about the history of jury rights, jury nullification, fija.org. That's www.fija.org. All right, thank you. Don't forget to share and like this video and pass it on to people. And thanks for watching. Peace.